Hi everyone, and welcome to Savvy Sips, where we discuss wine. Today, we are discussing what I have dubbed as champagne controversies. Champagne, the most famous sparkling wine on earth, is a very protected name by the French government. As a display, I will be having a sparkling wine instead of champagne because I am a poor graduate student. If you want to learn more about champagne versus sparkling wine, watch my other video linked here. Okay, sorry, shameless plug to watch my other video. Anyways, back to champagne. In 100 AD, the Romans began growing grapes in the area that we would eventually recognize as Champagne. In the 1600s, the region began producing the sparkling wine that we recognize. In 1891, the first legal protection for the Champagne designation was passed. In 1919, after World War I, the Treaty of Versailles protected the appellation and brought the Champagne designation to the world stage. Miller High Life, a beer produced in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, uses the slogan Champagne of Beers to designate itself as the highest quality beer. However, on a recent shipment in 2023 to Germany, Belgian officials confiscated exactly 2,352 cans of the beer. Then, the beers were promptly destroyed. This occurred because the European Union and the Committee of Champagne wants to protect the Champagne name, being quoted as saying, quote, "The European Union attaches to designations of origin and rewards the determination of the champagne producers to protect their designation. This instance goes to show that the designation of champagne is taken very seriously by the French government and the European Union." In 2019, Vladimir Putin created a law in Russia saying that only Russian-grown sparkling wine can use the label champagne. Therefore, the true French champagne would have to be labeled as sparkling wine if sold in Russia under this new law. The French government enlisted the EU to go after this Russian law. Quote, "Depriving the people of Champagne the right to use their name is scandalous. It's our common heritage and the apple of our eye," unquote, said the co-president of France's Champagne Committee. Many people believe that Russia did this to trick Russian consumers into buying sparkling Russian wine, thinking that they were buying the true French champagne, which would in turn increase the Russian wine market profits. The French government has been attempting to fight this law, but as of today, there has been no determination of what manifested from this disagreement. Before World War I, Americans loved their champagne. Then, after World War I, the United States Senate never ratified the Treaty of Versailles. There definitely were other impacts of this, but for us, this means that America did not have to abide by the European Union standards and the Champagne law. Then, right after World War I, the United States entered Prohibition, a time frame where alcohol was illegal, so the French had no interest in enforcing this law in the States. Prohibition and the Great Depression came and went. In the 1970s, Americans were reminded for their love of sparkling wine, and pressure was put primarily on California vineyards to produce. These wineries started calling their wine domestic champagne in an attempt to quell the sparkling wine thirsty public. As you can guess, the French were not happy about this. Finally, in 2006, the United States and European Union reached an agreement to not include any European destinations on their wines. However, there was a loophole. If the winery had been using the label since before the agreement was signed, they are allowed to keep using the term. Therefore, many California wineries continue using California champagne on their labels. Some argue that this is okay because it helps simplify terminology for the consumer, while the other side argues that it is deceptive and uses the champagne name to boost profits. Personally, I think California can hold their own in the wine world, and their sparkling wine should be respected rather attempting to follow France. I have linked a PDF of the agreement in the description if you are insane and want to read it like I did. No matter your opinion, this is the law as of the creation of this video, so be mindful when buying sparkling wine. Originally, the Champagne law was added to the Treaty of Versailles because of a dispute between France and Germany, who have a very intertwined wine history. I hope to make a video about this, so stay tuned. As we have just learned, this law has now been used in many other instances and protects the champagne name and method. Location is very important to European wines, and the French are no exception. Grapes are very sensitive to the weather and soil they are grown in, so a grape grown in Champagne, France can taste completely different than the same grape grown in Napa, California. Therefore, wine lovers far and wide want to know exactly where their wine was produced so they can experience the taste of the unique location, called the terroir. If you want to learn more about location, watch my last episode about old wine versus new wine labels, or keep an eye out for specific wine location videos I hope to make in the future. Safe and happy sipping!